Hi, I'm Fred Aranki. I'm a partner with Block O'Toole & Murphy. I'm going to be discussing a case that Daniel O'Toole and I handled together. Our client was a man in his late 50s, family man. He'd been working as a mechanic for many years. He was on his way home from work the way he usually goes. He was walking to the subway station in Brooklyn. He was crossing a street in the crosswalk with the pedestrian light in his favor. He had to wait at the curb for a few seconds, then started to cross. And as he was crossing the street, there was a vehicle coming from the opposite intersection, making a left turn onto the street that he was crossing. Didn't see him, knocked him down to the street. When he knocked him down, he was laying prone on his back with his arms out. Another car came, making a left turn, and ran him over. When he got knocked down, the second vehicle that came basically ran over the right side of his body. He sustained fractures in his arm and his ribs. I believe he had some lumbar, some spinal fractures too. And he had a significant head injury, fractures on his face, his teeth. Some of his teeth had to be replaced. He had orbital fractures. He had a brain injury. Those were the main injuries. Car accidents are so weird because you never know what's going to happen to somebody's body. But what had happened was when the vehicle ran over him, it was literally the tire of the car was about to crush his head. And the way that the tire hit his head turned his head to the side, and it went over him like this way instead of straight over his head, or he would have been obviously killed instantly. I hate to use the word lucky in these situations, but if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be alive. He definitely had some residual cognitive issues going forward, forgetting things, and he'd go for walks and then forget how to get home. So he's been going through cognitive therapy for that. His family helps him. He's got a really loving, devoted wife and two really great daughters. They've been really great and supportive for him, so he's lucky he's got a great support system. The accident itself, the whole accident, including him walking across the street, him getting hit, knocked down, him getting run over, it was all captured on video. The way that we were able to get it was a little unusual. It wasn't your usual traffic cam or NYPD camera video. It was a dash cam video from someone who was at a stoplight facing the accident scene. So it was like literally the perfect view of the accident. The video was then, for some reason, posted on TikTok, and that came to the attention of someone in our client's family. The video itself was integral in getting the case resolved because, one, it cleared up any issue, not 100%, but it cleared up a lot regarding liability. It allowed us to establish definitively that our client was crossing with the light in the crosswalk, that he basically did absolutely nothing wrong. It also allowed us to place 99% of the blame on the first car that knocked him down, which was important for us on the case. It also was the kind of video that would have been impossible for the defense to allow the jury to see, because anyone who sees the video, even me, I've been doing this for over 25 years, and every time I saw the video, it would make my stomach turn. When you watch the video, you're amazed that the client survived because of how he got run over and how slowly he got run over. The driver of the first vehicle claims that he didn't see our guy, and I believe him. He has no reason to lie. It's not like he tried to run him down on purpose. He said he was in a blind spot. I think what happened was there were cars coming from the other direction, going towards the left turning driver, making a right turn onto the street that the client was crossing. He was watching the cars turning while he was making his left turn instead of watching for pedestrians. He claimed that that our client was in his blind spot created by this bar that goes down between the windshield and the driver's side window. And that can create a blind spot, especially if it's at night and someone's wearing dark clothing and the area is not like really illuminated. That can be solved by somebody paying complete attention to their surroundings and looking at the roadway ahead instead of looking at something they're not supposed to be looking at. But that's basically what he claimed caused him to not see our client. But when you see the video, the client wasn't hit by the passenger's side. He was hit on the driver's side. So he would have been walking all the way across, and then he was hit on the driver's side. So he had plenty of time to see him crossing. It's not like the client walked into the side of the car or anything like that, which we've seen before. And the other vehicle, we didn't put as much blame on the second vehicle, basically, because our client was laying flat on the ground, and he just would have had no reason to think that there was a person laying flat on the ground because he didn't see the initial impact. But he also didn't know that he was running over a person. I mean, you can see the car going over him, going up and down, and you'd think, there's something wrong here. My car should not be reacting the way it's reacting. So he said he thought he was going over like a speed bump, and both drivers had to be flagged down by other people. I think it was either the first driver or the second driver. Somebody saw him, followed him like at least half a mile to a mile down the road until they got to a stoplight, flagged him down and said, hey, you just hit somebody, you got to go back. And they both went back after they realized they had hit somebody. It's a pretty difficult video to watch. I've had to watch it many, many times because of just preparing the case, preparing for depositions. The client himself, when it was time for his deposition, he was very, very worried that he was going to have to watch the video because he didn't want to see it. And we've had a lot of videos of accidents before, and some people want to see it and some people don't. And I always tell them, if you don't need to watch it for like deposition purposes, then don't, because you won't forget it. We feel here that part of our job is not just to take care of clients during the course of their case, but that they're being taken care of for the rest of their lives. And that's not just financially. I mean, that's a big part of it, but it's also, I think, somebody not allowing an accident to define the rest of their life is really important. I feel like if he had watched that video, or if his family members who he was very close with and I met with a lot of times had watched that video, it would have been burned in his brain. He would have seen it over and over again. And he had enough real life images and the nightmares from the accident, so I just feel like seeing it from that angle probably would have disturbed him even more. And I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody watches that video and says, hey, I'm lucky to be alive and it doesn't bother me. But I think it could go the other way too, and I just didn't want to have him to have to worry about that for the rest of his life. So I just told him, I didn't push him. He said he didn't want to see it. I didn't push him. I also, when I prepped him, I took him up to the point of the video right when he gets hit right when he's about to get hit by the first vehicle, just for deposition prep purposes, and then I left it alone at that point. The case settled for $12.5 million, which was obviously great for the client. He's not going to have to worry about money anymore. We helped him seek out the advice of a financial advisor who he retained, which we don't get anything out of. It's just strictly for his own purposes. He's somebody who's making, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000 a year, and now he's getting, several $1 million, like tax-free. So people get money like that, they don't necessarily know what to do with it. If you just throw it in the bank, obviously it's not really going to do anything for you. But we've helped people, through financial advisors, set up college funds for their kids. He wanted to buy a house. We just tell them, like, be smart with it. That there's like a correlation between lottery winners and personal injury settlements. There's like a percentage of people that blow all the money in the first 5 years, and I never ever want to see a client do that, because this is the only money they're ever going to get from their case, and we work really hard to help them get it, and we'd hate for them to then end up with nothing, especially if they can't work anymore.